Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend Ruben.
Emmanuel. Good morning.
Good morning, Rufa.
Good morning, Mr. Efeni.
Good morning, Victoria Tundu MKO Abiola.
Elda.
Yes.
Elda Efeni.
Let's start with this day newspaper. On a day like this, you know the newspapers that go to bed early. When you go to bed early, you miss the news.
Mr. Efeni, don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
And it is for a reason that this day is Nigeria's newspaper of record.
Yes, sir.
The story today, the lead story of this day, strike averted. That is the story. As federal government, labor reach compromise on palliative, suspend electricity tariff increase. Yes, the Trust newspaper also got it right. Fuel price, electricity tariff. Labor succumbs to pressure. Sheriff's nationwide strike. Federal government orders discos to suspend electricity tariff hike. Says fuel subsidy removal remains. Now, the Nation newspaper. Federal government shifts ground in a bid to stop labor strike. Did not get the story right. Now, the New Telegraph missed it all together. Labor adamant begins strike.
Fast asleep.
Yes, of course, Daily Independent playing safe. Fuel electricity hike protest. Last minute negotiation douses NLC strike threat. They just played safe there. While Vanguard newspaper missed it again. Strike still on, even if government reverses hikes. NLC. That is not the story. But there is a story in the front page of the Vanguard which we must also look at. Above the masthead, again, Boko Haram terrorists attack Zulum's convoy. 3 days after his convoy was attacked, again, the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, his convoy was attacked again yesterday. Now, the Punch newspaper has a different story. Buhari submits PIB to National Assembly, scraps NMPC, PPPRA in new bill. Proposed law creates Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to replace NMPC. Finance petroleum ministers to determine assets liabilities to be inherited by new firm. Well, if we just look at the foreign newspapers, yes, the Guardian newspaper of UK, world leaders back 10-point pledge to halt destruction of planet Earth. Yes, humanity is in a state of planetary emergency owing to the climate crisis and rampant destruction of life-sustaining ecosystem. And world leaders are meeting and saying we have to take action. Angela Merkel, Emmanuel Macron, Boris Johnson, all saying they need to clamp down on pollution and embrace sustainable economic system and eliminate dumping of plastics waste in ocean. Now, the COVID-19 is still very high in the UK. The Independent newspaper, yes, Labour calls for delay to start of university term. Yes, the shadow education secretary, Kate Green, is urging the Secretary for Education to postpone the return of students to the campuses for the university term because there is spike in Manchester, in Edinburgh, and other places in the UK. So that advisory is there. And the Herald newspaper, a third wave of COVID is entirely possible. And that's the scientific advisor to the Scottish government, Professor Mark Woolhouse, who is warning that a third wave of coronavirus is entirely possible with lockdowns, only deferring the problem. Now, if we come back to this day, and of course, the Daily Trust that got it right, the strike averted, the palliatives, or the points raised by government, which it called palliative. Are they really palliative? Can they bring succor to the Nigerian worker? Well, specific amounts to be unveiled by the federal government in 2 weeks that will isolate from the Economic Sustainable Program Intervention Fund and be assessed by Nigerian workers, with subsequent provision for 240,000 under the auspices of the NLC and TUC. Long grammar. Will that bring succor? Ruben, you dilated on this a short while ago.
Well, at the risk of sounding repetitive, but just to restate my position, I think what has happened at the end of the day is that the government negotiators, they won what you may call the ideological war in the course of the 3 different negotiations that they had with Labour. In other words, they were able to convince organized labor, it will now appear, that deregulation is inevitable, which is a position that was also taken yesterday by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Now, Labour should have had that kind of clarity before they even came up, because they had no clarity in terms of what they were dealing with. They were just mouthing the same old slogans, giving ultimatum and claiming that it is either government reverse itself or not, only after 2 weeks to turn around and say, well, we now embrace deregulation, but government should offer us some other things in exchange for that. They should have started at the point where they are now. And because they didn't go into the negotiations with clarity about what they wanted to do or what they wanted to negotiate on behalf of workers and the Nigerian people, they ended up holding the short end of the stick. Some of those things that the government people, who by now must be engaged in self-congratulation, because it's a big achievement that they've been able to prevent a major strike around Independence Week, you know, then, of course, Labour could have asked for specifics. Okay, if you say you are removing a subsidy, how much is the value of this subsidy? What are you going to do with it? How do we monitor it? Okay, 5% of minimum wage tax will be removed. Okay, no, we don't want even that. We want more. Can we take another look at this new national minimum wage? How much can we move from what you have said? We've been told that money will be taken from the 2.3 trillion reserved for the economic sustainability program to support workers. What will be the mechanism?
The details will be unveiled in 2 weeks.
No, the ad hoc committee, the ad hoc committee that has been set up is with regard to the electricity sector. If you look at that communique, the palliatives that government is talking about looks like something that government will just decide on its own what it thinks it can afford. And this is not the first time we are hearing about palliatives. The other time we had palliatives, some people are still raising questions that they did not see the palliatives. So we're still talking about food distribution in response to hike in increase in the pump price of petrol. So I think this ad hoc committee that they have set up, Labour will need to be more rigorous in terms of how they defend the interests of the people. Otherwise, people will just assume that they were not sincere about any negotiation right from the beginning. And they could just have saved us the trouble of the drama that they were putting up on the pages of newspapers.
Dr. Averted, that was why I laughed the last time. When I saw on the palliative item, I saw food item. I said that we accounted for the COVID food item. I want to put food item again.
Yes. Tundu, let me just take you away from this story.
Because I'm between two cynics.
No, let me, I want to take you away from this story. If the governor of Borno State can be attacked by Boko Haram insurgents
repeatedly
2 times in 3 days, is Borno safe for anybody?
It's so sobering. Clearly not. It's extremely sobering.
Do we have fifth columnists within the military who are giving information to these terrorists?
About the governor's movements?
Yes.
Perhaps. The attacks are audacious. It's really worrying. If this is the governor, what happens to the ordinary citizens? And the irony, when the governor went to visit with the people from Baga community who were finally able to return home, this happened. It goes to show that they are actually not safe to return home.
But there is this speculation that there are some people who don't want this war to end. I don't know, after settling the people in Baga, the governor going around to ensure that other areas are settled, and this is happening.
Yeah.
Mr. Efeni, I think the bigger question is who wants Governor Zulum dead? Because this is becoming one too many. The first attack, the second attack, very brazen, very strong. We don't know where we're going to have a third attack. Isn't the governor, the chief security officer of the state, supposed to be protected? I mean, we have threats on the lives of people in this country, but this is becoming one too many. And we should look strongly at it. Let's not forget that this man only recently was given an award for being the best governor in Nigeria. I forget the association that gave him that award now. And he's been very outspoken. A lot of people have really appreciated what he's done in that area. He's spoken truth to power. He's shown us what is really happening there. But
I hope somebody's not trying to silence him.
So who really wants Governor Zulum dead?
They're
who wants him dead?
Somebody wants to silence him.
Who wants him dead? That's the question we should be asking.
Yes, he has to be protected.
We hope that they don't succeed, whoever wants him dead. But there was a story you also brought up, Efeni, front page of Punch, about President Buhari now sending the PIB.
Yes, the PIB.
To the National Assembly.
At last.
Well, you know, that bill has been in the making since year 2000. And under the Obasanjo administration. And we're hoping that this time around, now that there is a better relationship between the executive arm of government and the legislature, and the National Assembly taking a position that it will support anything that will be for the progress and development of Nigeria, we hope that it will work this time around, because the issues are around the development of the oil and gas sector, and also building better relationship with host communities and other stakeholders. And we hope that the kind of controversy that we had in 2018 about whether there should be one regulator or more than one regulator, or where a certain 10% should go or not, will not delay this bill further. It's not just a bill for Nigeria, it's a bill for all the stakeholders in that oil and gas sector, where we expect greater efficiency and productivity. So thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni. We'll see you tomorrow morning.